5 unforgivable mistakes that ruin your life in old age. Growing older is a privilege that not everyone gets to experience. However, the way you navigate this stage of life can make the difference between peace and regret. After decades of hard work, raising families, and contributing to society, you deserve happiness, health, and dignity in your golden years. But there are certain mistakes, avoidable yet devastating, that can rob you of the life you've worked so hard to build. These mistakes don't just happen overnight. They are often the result of neglect, avoidance, or denial. Here are 5 unforgivable mistakes that, if left unchecked, can ruin your life in old age. Learn them now so you can take action, avoid regret, and live the fulfilling life you deserve. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Neglecting your health. I'll deal with it later. When we're younger, it's easy to take our health for granted. We brush off little pains, delay doctor visits, and indulge in habits we know are bad for us: late nights, poor diets, and a lack of exercise. The consequences feel so distant, almost unreal. I'll deal with it later, we say. But in old age, later has arrived, and the bill for all those years of neglect comes due. For many seniors, the realization comes too late. Your health is the one thing you can't buy back, no matter how much money, regret, or willpower you have. Small problems that, when ignored for years, can turn into chronic diseases, pain that never goes away, or limitations that steal your independence. It's a cruel irony. You finally have time to enjoy life, yet your body becomes the very thing holding you back. Think about this. Have you noticed how difficult it's become to do things you once didn't think twice about? Climbing a flight of stairs, bending down to tie your shoes, walking to the mailbox on a hot day. These seemingly small inconveniences can snowball until one day you feel trapped in your own body, your mind full of life and dreams, but your legs refusing to carry you there. And then there's the quiet damage happening inside, the kind you can't see or feel. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, rising blood sugar. These silent culprits don't announce themselves with trumpets or alarms. They work slowly, stealing years from your life and life from your years. By the time you feel something's wrong, it might be too late to turn back. But here's the truth that many are afraid to admit. Neglecting your health is not just about you. Your health affects the people you love: a spouse, a child, a grandchild. They all rely on you in some way. When you're unhealthy, they worry. They take on extra responsibilities. They adjust their lives to care for you. And if something happens, the grief of your absence is magnified by the sense that it could have been prevented. Caring for your health isn't selfish. It's one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for those who cherish you. So, what can you do today to avoid this mistake? Start small. A doctor's appointment to catch up on those checkups you've been putting off. A daily walk to breathe fresh air and stretch your legs. A shift in your diet toward real nourishing food instead of processed convenience. Pay attention to your body's signals, the little aches, the changes in energy, the shifts in your balance. These are your body's whispers. Don't wait until they become shouts. And don't forget about your mind. Mental health matters just as much as physical health. Loneliness, boredom, and stress can chip away at your well-being over time, making you feel older than you are. Stay engaged with life. Laugh often. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Find reasons to wake up excited for the day ahead. You are not powerless. You don't have to let your health decline without a fight. Every choice you make, no matter how small, adds up. And the sooner you begin, the more time you give yourself to enjoy life the way it's meant to be enjoyed, with energy, freedom, and the strength to live on your own terms. Your health is the foundation of everything else: your independence, your joy, and your ability to be fully present in this precious stage of life. Don't let neglect be the reason you lose it. You've come too far, lived through too much, to let something so vital slip through your fingers. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Later is now. 2. Failing to plan financially. I'll worry about it when I need to. In the prime of our lives, money often feels like a tool, a means to provide, build, and enjoy. We work hard, pay the bills, raise our children, and assume that when the time comes to slow down, things will fall into place. I'll worry about it when I need to, we tell ourselves, often out of hope, denial, or sheer exhaustion. But in old age, when the income stops and life's expenses don't, this mistake can turn into a relentless storm that robs you of peace, dignity, and even your independence. The harsh truth is that financial unpreparedness doesn't just bring inconvenience, it brings fear. It's the fear of opening the mailbox, dreading bills that seem to grow larger every month. It's the gut-wrenching anxiety of watching your savings dwindle faster than you ever imagined. It's the sinking feeling of knowing you might have to rely on others when you spend a lifetime taking pride in your independence. Many seniors underestimate how long they will live, not realizing that retirement could stretch 20, 30, or even 40 years. Life expectancy has increased, and while that is a blessing, it also means we need more resources to sustain ourselves. At 65, it's easy to believe you'll make it work, but without a plan, small cracks can turn into financial devastation. What happens if your health takes a turn, and suddenly there are doctor's bills, prescriptions, or assisted living costs? What if you outlive your spouse and face the financial strain alone? Relying solely on Social Security is another trap many fall into. Social Security was never meant to cover all your needs. It's a safety net, not a full plan. The average Social Security check barely covers the basics: rent, utilities, groceries. Add a sudden home repair, dental surgery, or help for a family member, and the safety net can snap. For those without savings or a pension, the stress becomes unbearable. The golden years you once dreamed of start to feel like a burden rather than a reward. And then there's the emotional toll. Financial struggles strip away your sense of control. You begin to feel invisible, embarrassed, or even ashamed. You might hesitate to seek help because you don't want to be seen as failing. But this silence only deepens the problem, leaving you alone in a fight that feels impossible to win. It doesn't have to be this way. It's never too late to regain control and take steps to secure your future. Planning financially in old age isn't just about numbers, it's about peace of mind. It's about waking up in the morning without worrying about whether you'll have enough. It's about having choices, whether that's treating yourself to a vacation, helping a grandchild go to college, or simply living comfortably without fear of running out. Start by facing the truth. Sit down and take an honest look at your financial situation. What do you have? What do you need? It might feel overwhelming at first, but knowledge is power. Consult a trusted financial advisor, someone who understands the unique challenges of retirement. Create a budget that works with your fixed income and prioritize what matters most. Think ahead to what the future might bring. Long-term care, for example, is a reality for many seniors, yet most people fail to plan for it. Don't wait for a crisis to make decisions about your living arrangements, healthcare needs, or insurance options. Taking action now can save you and your loved ones from scrambling in a moment of crisis. And remember this: financial planning doesn't mean depriving yourself of joy today. It means ensuring that you can keep enjoying life tomorrow. It's about balance, making smart decisions that protect your future without sacrificing your present happiness. Most importantly, don't let pride stop you from asking for help. Financial struggles are more common than you might think, and there is no shame in seeking guidance. Whether it's a family member, a financial planner, or community resources, there are people ready to help you find stability and peace. You've worked too hard and come too far to let money dictate your happiness now. Financial security is not about wealth, it's about freedom. It's about having the confidence to live your final decades on your own terms without fear, regret, or dependence. The sooner you face it, the stronger you'll feel. Because the truth is this: your financial future isn't just about numbers on a page. It's about protecting the life you've built, preserving your dignity, and giving yourself the gift of peace. Don't leave it to chance. Don't wait until the worry keeps you up at night. Start today, because you deserve a life of comfort, security, and pride. 3. Letting relationships wither. I don't want to bother anyone. As the years go by, relationships often drift quietly into the background of life. Friends move away, loved ones grow busy, and the world seems to spin faster than we can keep up. Many older adults resign themselves to the belief that this is simply how life works, that loneliness is an inevitable part of aging. I don't want to bother anyone, you think. They have their own lives to live. And so you retreat. But here's the painful truth. Letting relationships wither is one of the most devastating mistakes you can make in your later years. Relationships are not just a luxury. They are the very lifeline of human existence. Without connection, the world becomes smaller, quieter, and lonelier. And the absence of meaningful bonds begins to eat away at your happiness, health, and even your will to live. Loneliness is not just a feeling. It's a silent thief. It creeps into your days, turning what could be joyful moments into empty routines. The laughter you once shared with friends is replaced by the hum of a television. The lively phone calls you used to look forward to are now replaced with long stretches of silence. Slowly but surely, isolation begins to chip away at your spirit. Your mind wanders to regrets, old memories, and what ifs. And before you know it, you've built an invisible wall between yourself and the rest of the world. The consequences of loneliness are not just emotional, they are physical. Studies show that social isolation can increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, and even dementia. A lack of connection is as harmful to your health as smoking or obesity. It's as though the absence of love and companionship drains the life right out of you, leaving you fragile and empty. Yet so many seniors let this happen, sometimes out of pride, sometimes out of fear, and often because they simply don't know how to reconnect. If you find yourself pulling away from others, you must ask yourself, why? Is it because you're afraid of rejection? Or because you don't want to feel like a burden? Perhaps you're holding on to hurt, disappointment, or grief from relationships that didn't turn out the way you hoped. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: the need for connection never goes away. No matter your age, your heart still longs for friendship, understanding, and love. It's never too late to nurture the relationships that matter or to build new ones. Call your children and grandchildren, even if you worry they're busy. They may not always say it, but they want to hear from you. Send a message to an old friend, even if it's been years since you last spoke. You'd be surprised how many people are waiting for someone else to take the first step. Join a group at your local senior center, a church, or a volunteer program, places where you'll meet others who, like you, are longing for connection. Don't let technology intimidate you either. Video calls, text messages, and even social media can open doors to connection in ways you never thought possible. Imagine seeing the smiling faces of your grandchildren, even when they live far away, or reconnecting with friends from decades ago. It's not as difficult as you might think, and the joy it brings is worth every effort. The beauty of relationships lies in their ability to remind us that we are not alone in this world. When you share a laugh with a friend, pour your heart out to a loved one, or simply sit in comfortable silence with someone who understands you, the weight of life becomes lighter. These moments nourish your soul in ways that material things never can. And don't be afraid to let people in, to let them see the real you, including your struggles and your vulnerabilities. So many seniors close themselves off because they fear being a burden. But consider this: allowing others to care for you is a gift to them too. Your wisdom, your stories, your presence, they enrich the lives of those around you. Never underestimate the value you bring to the table, no matter your age. If you let your relationships wither, the price you pay is far greater than you might realize. Loneliness can turn your golden years into years of quiet suffering, filled with what could have been. But if you nurture connection, your world comes alive again. Suddenly there is laughter, love, and purpose, a reason to get out of bed in the morning, and a warmth that fills your heart even on the hardest days. So don't wait. Call that friend. Visit that family member. Say yes to that invitation, even if you don't feel like it at first. Open your heart to the people around you and watch how life begins to bloom again. Because in the end, it's not the things you own or the years you live that matter. It's the relationships you cherish and the love you share. Don't let your relationships slip away. Life is too short, and connection is too precious to let go. You deserve to be seen, heard, and loved, no matter how many years you've lived. 4. Refusing to embrace change. That's not how I do things. Change is one of life's greatest constants, yet it's something many of us fight against, especially as we grow older. There's comfort in routine, in the familiar ways we've done things for decades. It feels safe, predictable, and within our control. That's not how I do things, you tell yourself when faced with something new, whether it's technology, new treatments, or changing living arrangements. But clinging to the past can lead to an invisible kind of suffering, one where you feel left behind, out of step with the world, and increasingly isolated. The truth is, refusing to embrace change can quietly rob you of opportunities, independence, and even joy. You may not realize it at first. Perhaps it starts with something as small as avoiding new technology. Why do I need a smartphone when I've always used a landline? But this resistance to learning leaves you disconnected. The photos of your grandkids that everyone else sees are never sent to you. Video calls that could bring the laughter and faces of loved ones into your home go unused. And in moments when you need help, like making appointments or navigating healthcare, technology becomes an enemy rather than a tool. It's not just technology where this resistance shows up. Many seniors dismiss new healthcare advice because it feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable. A doctor recommends physical therapy, a new medication, or even a change in diet, and the instinct is to push back. I've lived this way for years, and I'm fine, you might say. But refusing these changes often means closing the door on opportunities to feel better, live longer, and regain the energy you need to enjoy your life fully. Living arrangements, too, become an emotional battlefield. The thought of leaving the home you've lived in for years can feel unbearable. It's not just a house, it's where you've built memories, raised children, and felt most yourself. The walls hold your stories, and stepping away feels like leaving a part of yourself behind. But here's what many seniors don't see until it's too late. Holding on to something out of stubbornness or fear can make life harder and lonelier. Staying in a house that's too big or unsafe, where stairs feel like mountains and every corner feels empty, can turn your sanctuary into a burden. Change is difficult because it requires letting go of what's comfortable and stepping into the unknown. It forces us to acknowledge that life keeps moving, whether we want it to or not. But what if, instead of resisting, you leaned into it? What if you saw change not as an enemy, but as an opportunity to grow, learn, and discover new ways to live? Change can feel daunting, but it is also where life continues to surprise us. Think about this. Every significant part of your life once began as something new. There was a time when getting married, having children, or starting a career felt unfamiliar and overwhelming. Yet you embraced it, and those choices brought some of the most meaningful moments of your life. This stage of life is no different. Change may look like learning to use a smartphone so you can FaceTime your grandkids every Sunday. It may look like moving to a smaller home or a senior community where you can feel safer and less alone. It may mean exploring new treatments, hobbies, or routines that keep you healthier and happier. Yes, change can feel uncomfortable, even painful, but so often what we resist out of fear turns out to be the very thing that brings us peace. Imagine the freedom that comes from simplifying your life, letting go of what no longer serves you so you can focus on what does. Imagine the joy of trying something new and discovering it's not as difficult as you thought. Imagine the strength that comes from showing yourself and everyone else that you are still capable of growing, adapting, and thriving. The world may look different than it did when you were young, but that doesn't mean you don't belong in it. You are still a part of this life, and life still has new things to offer you. When you choose to embrace change, you reclaim your place in the world. You send a message to yourself and those around you that you are not done living. So, the next time you feel yourself pulling back saying, "That's not how I do things," pause for a moment. Ask yourself what you're truly afraid of. Is it the fear of failure? The fear of looking foolish? Or is it the deeper fear that change means letting go of who you used to be? The truth is, change doesn't erase who you are. It expands you. It makes room for new experiences, new memories, and new connections that you never thought possible. Don't let resistance to change keep you stuck in a life that feels smaller than it should. You've weathered countless changes in your life before: wars, family struggles, career shifts, the loss of loved ones, and you are still here. That is proof of your strength, your resilience, and your ability to adapt. Embrace this stage of life as another chapter, one where you still have the power to choose, to grow, and to change for the better. Life does not stop teaching us just because we've grown older. Sometimes the most beautiful lessons come when we step out of our comfort zones and allow ourselves to be surprised. Change isn't your enemy, it's your opportunity. Don't let fear of the unfamiliar hold you back from the joy, freedom, and growth that still lie ahead. You are capable of so much more than you know, and it's never too late to begin again. 5. Ignoring the importance of purpose. I'm just waiting for time to pass. One of the most dangerous mistakes you can make in old age is to let go of your sense of purpose. For decades, your days had structure and meaning. You woke up with responsibilities, going to work, raising children, managing a home, contributing to your community. Each role gave you a reason to push forward, a reason to get up in the morning. But when retirement comes and life slows down, too many people find themselves lost in the silence, feeling like their usefulness has come to an end. What's left for me to do, you ask? I'm just waiting for time to pass. This way of thinking doesn't just steal the joy out of life, it erodes your very soul. Without purpose, your days become empty, blending together in a fog of routine and monotony. You might find yourself sitting in front of the TV for hours, staring at the same walls, or feeling like you're just marking time until it's over. But the truth is, a life without purpose isn't really living, it's merely existing. Purpose isn't just about what you do, it's about why you do it. It's the feeling of being needed, of contributing, of knowing that your presence in the world still matters. And make no mistake, it does. No matter your age, your wisdom, your experience, and your compassion are valuable beyond measure. You are not here to simply fade away. You are here to continue growing, learning, and making an impact in whatever way you can. Perhaps you've retired from your career, but your life's work isn't finished. There are still people to help, passions to explore, and lessons to teach. Your years have given you insights and stories that the younger generations desperately need to hear. Your voice can inspire, guide, and comfort others in ways you may not even realize, whether it's mentoring a young adult, volunteering at a local shelter, or sharing your wisdom with your family. Your actions, no matter how small, ripple outward and make a difference. It's never too late to find or rediscover what gives your life meaning. It might mean reigniting an old passion, like painting, gardening, or playing music. It could mean starting something completely new, learning a language, traveling to a place you've always dreamed of, or joining a community group. Purpose can be as simple as being there for someone who needs you, a neighbor, a friend, or even a stranger. Sometimes, just offering a kind word or a helping hand is enough to remind you of your worth. The danger comes when you convince yourself that your time has passed, that you have nothing left to offer. This couldn't be further from the truth. A life of purpose doesn't depend on physical strength, youth, or status. It depends on your willingness to engage with the world around you, to wake up each day and ask yourself, what can I do today that matters? It might be as small as sharing a smile with someone or as significant as changing another person's life. The scale doesn't matter. What matters is the effort, the intention, and the heart you put into it. Purpose also gives you something to look forward to, a reason to keep moving forward even when life feels difficult. It gives you focus and direction in moments when loneliness or sadness try to creep in. When you live with purpose, every day becomes an opportunity, not something to simply endure, but something to embrace. It's the difference between waking up excited to see what the day holds and dreading the long hours ahead. This stage of life is not the end of your story. It's another chapter waiting to be written. You have more to give, more to experience, and more to become. The world still needs your kindness, your wisdom, and your love. Don't allow yourself to believe otherwise. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. You are here for a reason. And that reason is as important now as it's ever been. Don't spend your days waiting for time to pass. Time is precious, and once it's gone, you can never get it back. Choose to fill your days with meaning, connection, and joy. Whether it's through volunteering, creating, mentoring, or simply being there for others, find what lights you up inside and pursue it with everything you have. The greatest tragedy of life isn't growing old. It's growing old without purpose. You've come too far and lived through too much to let that happen. Embrace this time as a gift, an opportunity to leave your mark on the world in ways both big and small. When you find your purpose, you don't just add years to your life, you add life to your years. And in the end, that's what truly matters. Embrace the gift of time. Your story isn't over yet. Life in your later years is a culmination of all the moments, choices, and lessons that came before. It's a time to reflect on everything you've achieved and embrace what still lies ahead. But the quality of this stage depends on the choices you make now. Neglecting your health, failing to plan financially, letting relationships fade, resisting change, or living without purpose are mistakes that can quietly steal your joy, freedom, and peace. The good news is this: it's never too late to change course. You still hold the power to shape your life, to rewrite your story, and to live with the dignity, fulfillment, and happiness you deserve. Every day you wake up is an opportunity, a chance to care for yourself, to reconnect with loved ones, to adapt to life's changes, and to pursue something meaningful. Your life still matters. Your wisdom still has value, and your presence still makes a difference. You are not finished yet. There is more love to give, more laughter to share, and more moments to cherish. Don't let fear, pride, or regret keep you from living fully. This time is a gift, a chance to embrace what truly matters. Live it with intention, with courage, and with a heart open to the beauty that still surrounds you. You've earned these years. Make the most of them. The best chapters of your story may still be waiting to be written. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.